Hello, this is Debbra Bronstad, Grief Recovery Coach, and I'm here today to talk about how long does grief take? That's a common question that people ask when they have an experience with grief. They've lost someone they love, or maybe they're experiencing other losses like the loss of a job or a home or a community, and it sets us into such a conflicting spiral of emotions that the question often is, how long will this take? Well, each person's grief experience is unique, so there's no set answer to this question. The intensity of the experience of grief depends in a large part in the type of loss, and when it's a loss of a person, how the attachment and the relationship that you had with that person. When you've lost a job or a community, maybe a home, then it really has to do with how invested you were in that that home, that job, that community. And so those issues make the determination for how long does grief last. And it's not like we can say that, oh, two people who both lost their job, they're going to be over it at the same point in time. It's a very unique experience. But most of the time, in about 2 to 3 years, the pain begins to subside as you make adjustments to your loss. So when you've lost a person, then you're learning to live without that person in your life. And you've been making those adjustments over the last 2 to 3 years at that point. In other circumstances, by that time, in 2 to 3 years, you've probably gone on to another job or another home, and you're making those adjustments of how to live without what you lost. But you know, after 2 to 3 years, what we really mean is that there'll probably be more good days than bad days by that time, okay? And the intensity of the sad feelings usually begins to subside. Now, usually also with time, people find that they have more control over the ability to access memories or emotions. And those memories and emotions don't catch them off guard as much as they did in the early days. The experience of grief can just feel like waves of emotion that hit you, especially in the early days. And as time goes on, oftentimes those waves may or may not be as intense, but they happen less frequently. Well, grief will ebb and flow throughout our life after a loss. And it's not like we get over the loss of someone, but we do learn to live with that loss. And eventually, we learn how to remember our loved one or those good things we had in our life without the pain. You know, we will grieve as long as we need to. Grief really is about the healing process after a loss. It's natural to grieve and review our relationship with a person over time, and some people avoid doing this. They choose not to think about the person, and this actually prolongs the experience of grief. And while you may not know you're grieving, you may be experiencing stress or anxiety or other things that indicate that there's something unresolved below the surface. Other people may experience the good memories of someone they've lost or an experience that was positive, but as they're experiencing that positive emotion, those feelings get hijacked by something negative or unresolved, something unpleasant that happened. And it's when those unpleasant things come up that we feel that our positive memories get hijacked, that we go back into that painful place. Well, one of the things that I do as a grief recovery coach is to help people resolve what was unresolved in a relationship or other kinds of loss. And so instead of getting stuck there, you can resolve that part, and then your mind and your heart doesn't have to keep going back to that place. Then you can remember the positive memories while and not have to keep going back there and getting stuck. So to learn more about healing your grief, I invite you to give me a call at 805-242-3569, or you can contact me through my website, www.Stages-of-Grief-Recovery.com, and I'd love to work with you to create a plan for your healing. You can call me for a free consultation, and I'll look forward to getting to know you and how we might be able to work together to create that plan to help you process through those stuck places, the painful places, so that you can get to that place of honoring your loved one without the pain. I look forward to hearing from you. That's all for now. This is Debbra Bronstad, Grief Recovery Coach.